Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a talk. I am so excited about talking to you about this because it is something that's been coming up for quite a while for people. And I think it really starts to get bad before we go into Mercury in retrograde. So I think that's kind of one of those like, this is interesting. And what it is people calling other people narcissistic. And the funny thing is, the first person that goes, you're the narcissistic, is usually the narcissistic. They're seeing those traits in themselves, and then they're trying to find them in other people. But I guarantee you, a lot of times they're doing it just to shut that other person down. Because if they've been asked that or feel like they are, they're going to try to put that pressure onto someone else. Like, I'm not the narcissistic, you're the narcissistic, you did it wrong, you did this. And so they're constantly like bombarding any guilt or any bad things or anything like that that should be on them. They're literally throwing it to the other person. They're like, no, it's you. You're the narcissistic, you're the one who's this, you're the one who's that. So a lot of times, even though they're the narcissistic and they may have ideas that they are literally putting that guilt onto someone else. Narcissistics do not deal with guilt well. Anything that they say that they're sorry for, I guarantee you that apology is half-hearted, kind of, well, I'm sorry your feelings got hurt. Not, I apologize for hurting your feelings. I'm sorry your feelings got hurt. So they're really not truly apologizing. They're just kind of putting the blame back on you. It's your fault that your feelings got hurt, not that I did anything wrong. And so that's really the way their energy is constantly kind of like avoiding. I almost think of them like the matador in the ring, kind of like avoiding the bull. Like, it's nope, push it off. No, don't want that around me. I don't want that guilt around me, because it's one of those, if they were to take the real guilt or the real blame for something, I guarantee you they'd explode. They just, it's the way their energy is, because they have to feel like they're, not that they're perfect, but they have to feel that it's not their fault. So many times they feel like everybody else is blaming them, and that's when they'll usually start to tell other people, well, you're the narcissistic, and it's like, technically you are. And it's usually kind of the funny one is it's usually the one that says it first is the narcissistic. So it's kind of like, interesting. So their narcissistic energy brings up that inability to really take blame for what they've done or even take responsibility for it. Like, I'm responsible. I'm the one who messed up. I'm the one who did this wrong. I'm the one who said this wrong, or whatever it is. Nope, they need to put that blame on someone else. I said that wrong because you gave me the wrong information. Or I said this wrong because you gave me the wrong file. It's never their fault for anything. And if they do take blame or they take that, it's like in a very passive aggressive, it's your fault. It's your fault your feelings got hurt, or it's your fault that you put this there, that the glass fell over. It's one of those, they just can't take it. And I think that's kind of the sad part, because literally when you take the responsibility for something, you will learn. You really literally learn something brand new, something that you didn't know before. You learn something. Oh, not to put the glass here at the edge of the table because it could be knocked off. I learned that I should do this differently, or I should say something differently, or this person is very sensitive to the words that I say, so I should be more cautious with my words when I'm around them. That's the way life should be, not blaming everybody else for what they've done wrong or things that they could have done wrong or did or whatever it is. It's like, yep, that's the way their energy is. So many times their energy is blaming other people when it really should be, big bump, should be on them. And they will make everybody else feel guilty. And I think that's one of the things I've learned is dealing with narcissistic people around me or around my family, all that kind of stuff, is that they're going to put that blame on someone else, and they kind of almost, they do it so much, they end up turning that person into a scapegoat. So eventually everybody else around starts blaming the same person. Oh, it must be so-and-so's fault because this went wrong. And it's like, so you're adding more guilt to this person who really didn't do anything wrong, because everybody else is like, oh, all the blame goes to them. Now, I will definitely tell you, when that happens, that scapegoat at some point will be like, then I'm leaving. I'm out of this. I am not staying in this energy. I am not staying here. I'm out. And usually when they do, it's because I've had enough. And then usually someone else gets picked to be the scapegoat. And I was talking to a client a couple of days ago, and she said, I've always been the scapegoat. I've always been the one that I'm the bad one. I'm the one that can't do anything right. I'm the one who blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yep, I understand that. And then she said, when she stopped going to family functions, it literally changed the energy, because now her family's seeing it differently. And it's like, wait a minute, like, I'm being blamed for things and I've never been blamed for anything. And I was like, oh yeah, you're the new scapegoat. You are the new scapegoat for the family. And now everything's going to blame on. And it's like her sister saw it for the first time of like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. And she goes, oh yeah, you're taking, like, you're in my position now. You're the scapegoat. They have honorarily picked you to be the scapegoat in this. And no matter what happens, even if you had nothing to do with it, it's going to be your fault. That's the way it goes. And that's the sad, quirky part of it, is it's kind of like, let's look at this a little bit differently. Because I think that really is the sad part, is that's the scapegoat really didn't do anything wrong, but everybody is blaming them. And they usually kind of end up just like, okay, blame it all on me. I'm just, dump it on. I'm just like used to it. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's like, but it's not their guilt. They didn't do anything wrong. And so a lot of times they can get caught up in a lot of family trauma or drama because they're kind of dragged into it over and over again. But I will say they also usually end up with some pretty nasty illnesses, because everybody is putting the guilt onto them. Everybody is putting things on them, that it's their fault. It's your fault that you did this because we don't have enough money to go out and eat dinner, or whatever it is. And you're like, but I bought a water heater. We needed a water heater. And it's like, it doesn't matter. They're blaming that person. And the more they do that, that person, that scapegoat, will usually end up with a lot of, like I said, illnesses, a lot of deep-seated guilt, or kind of just like afraid to do anything, because if I do, I'm going to be blamed for it. Like, instead of going, oh, well, you learned a lesson, let's go pick up your, pull up your bootstraps and let's keep going. It's kind of like, no, everything is blamed on me, constantly blamed on me. So I was like, yep, that's the way it goes. And that's the quirky, sad part about it, because that scapegoat never really did anything wrong. But I will tell you, lately I have seen a lot of scapegoats getting out of their family trauma. A lot of them deciding, like, if I want to go do something with my family, that they are actually doing it in a very healthy manner. And then as soon as things start to go south, they're like, okay, I'm out of here, bye, and go. Because if not, then it just comes back to them over and over and over again. They're going to be the scapegoat again, and it's all going to be their fault. And so as they've done that, it's kind of changed the dynamics of the family, which is really interesting, because now the scapegoat's gone, and they're about to start blaming people. That means someone else is going to be brought up to the scapegoat level, and they're going to blame that person. They're going to blame it on that person, and the cycle goes again. But it really is interesting, because it does bring up a lot of interesting energy, that now people that weren't seeing it before are now seeing that energy. Now they're seeing it, kind of thing. It's like, oh, here it is. Like, here's the energy of it. It's like, never saw it before, never heard it before, never heard anybody blame them before. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, now I'm the scapegoat? Yeah, it happens. So hopefully your family has a little bit more energy and able to do it. But I will tell the scapegoat, make sure that you speak your truth no matter what is happening around you. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.